What's up, everybody? Welcome to the LeadHership Athletics Podcast, a space for athletes, parents, coaches, and administrators to help her, the female athlete, own her power in the world. My name is Coach Ashley Carter, and I'm your host, your mentor, and your coach. I left coaching the physical performance of the athlete after 17 years to travel across the country to develop the identity and the confidence that female athletes need to succeed at anything in life, not just the game. And listen, I'd love to come speak to your team or do a training for your high school, college, or university. So if you are an athlete, share this podcast with your coach or your athletic director, and also give them my email address, which would be info@LeadHershipAthletics.com. Also, if you are a coach, feel free to also connect with me at that same email address, which again, info@LeadHershipAthletics.com. By the way, I look forward to seeing you guys or working with you all in the future. But until then, let's get to the episode. What's up, YouTube family? This week, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about this idea of expectations and pressure. So I work with a young group of athletes on the basketball court now, just a little hobby that I do, and I have a 6th grade group, but we're intermixed with some 5th graders sometimes. There's also some 3rd and 4th graders who are also present. And as I was sitting there listening to a parent obnoxiously yell in practice, I thought about a wonderful topic for us to talk about today, which is pressure and expectations. You see, there are some parents who recognize that their presence does create a little bit of anxiety and stress for your athletes. And there are some parents who assume that providing your athletes with more inspiration, maybe, or motivation by yelling or screaming, I believe you think that you're helping your athlete, but the reality is that you're not. So athletes, parents, I'm going to say this, parents, I want you to give this camera to your athletes, this iPad or wherever they're watching. I want them to watch this specifically because I want to speak directly to them. All right, athletes. So I know the struggle and the stresses that you go through when it comes to playing a sport. I know you also want to have a lot of fun. You want to have a lot of time with your friends. You want to be able to interact with them. And I know just how much sometimes the pressure gets to us so much that it's not fun anymore for us. So I wanted to give you a couple of tips to kind of help you work through some of the pressures that exist from what I would say are expectations of our sport. So let's talk about expectations first. And where do they come from? Okay, so expectations are things that people expect of you, maybe because you go to practice every week, maybe because you have a coach now, maybe because you play in an organized sport, maybe your parents may have expectations that you should be maybe a little bit further than you already are, or because you have been going to practice, you are now good at this sport and there's no way that you can make a mistake. Those can be expectations, okay? There may be expectations that you should be enjoying the opportunity because your parents are putting forth the money and the time, right? That's another thing about expectations. Let's talk about your coaches. Okay, your coaches will say, man, we've run over this play 10 times in practice. How do we not know it in the game? But I know personally that sometimes when games happen, you get a little bit anxious, a little bit stressed, right? You tend to forget because your mind is probably going 100 miles a minute. Right? Maybe you have expectations from the other team. They're going to continuously compete against you. They're going to continuously put their best foot forward, right? They want to win the game on the scoreboard just as much as we do. So sometimes that pressure of constantly having to chase to be able to win or being able to catch up to a team that is winning, those are all things that can create a little bit of expectations for you, right? Let's think about the referees, right? They expect you when you get there not to travel, right? Not to make bad passes, right? Not to step inbounds when you're taking the ball out, right? Maybe they're thinking about you not fouling another athlete, right? Playing with just your feet and not your hands. There's so many things that come from thinking about the expectations that come on you. There's so many things. I probably named literally about 20 to 30 things just in that small amount of time. So when we have all of these things coming at us from all areas of life, you know what that creates? That creates a little bit of weight on us and a little bit of pressure. So that is where pressure and expectations co-align. And that's why I want to give you 3 tips today to help you overcome some of those pressures and those expectations, okay? So do me a favor, okay? If you don't have a pen and paper, grab a pen and a paper, and I want us to take some notes, okay? So first thing I want you to do is I want you to write down one strength and one uniqueness, okay? Write down one strength and one uniqueness, all right? A strength is something that you believe you have done so well over and over again that it kind of becomes like a second nature, right? A little bit effortless in our action. So that would be a strength. Some of us might be post players, so we feel like we're stronger. We can get the ball down below and we're going to make a move and we're going to at least be able to go up strong to the basket. Some of us are really great at our speed. Our strength is our speed. We can get up and down the court really, really, really fast, right? Some of us, our strength is a shooter. Sometimes being a shooter allows us to score baskets a little bit easier than some other people. We just kind of got a feel and an eye, right? So those would be strengths. Now, your uniqueness, sometimes it has nothing to do with the sport, but sometimes it does. So here's an idea of a uniqueness. A uniqueness is something that is different about you, that makes you different than other people. And so or it could be a rare case. For instance, if we have any lefties listening in today, there aren't that many lefties that we know in any sport, really. So being a lefty is something that is unique, right? If we take a uniqueness outside of the sport, we might think about or let's do another one in sport real quick. Maybe you are a little bit taller than other people, so maybe you're closer to a 6 foot range. That's a uniqueness. And the reverse of that would be maybe you're a little bit shorter than some of the other athletes. Doesn't make you any less than in that case. It just shows us that there's a difference between you and majority of the people that are on the court. Okay, think about also your home dynamic. Maybe you are an only child. That's a uniqueness. Maybe you are one of 4 brothers, okay? Or one girl of 4 brothers, or one girl of one family. Maybe you're the baby of the family, okay? Maybe you're from a different country. Maybe you are really good at math. One of your uniquenesses is that you can read or see numbers a little bit faster than other people. Those are all things that are uniqueness. So write down your one strength and your one uniqueness. Okay, so tip number 1 has to do with your strengths and your uniqueness, all right? So out of 8 billion people in the world, there is only one of you. Did you know that there was 8 billion people in the world? Yeah, so there's only one of you, which makes you already unique, valuable, and enough, right? So my first tip for you is to know that only you can show up as you. Okay, you are different than your teammate, than another teammate. You are different than another teammate. You are different than your other teammate. You are you, and you bring something to the table that's different than somebody else. So if you recognize that only you can provide this sort of service to your team, that should take some of the pressure and expectations off of you, right? Because you can show up as yourself and just be you. Okay, so that's tip number 1. All right, tip number 2. Tip number 2 is I want us to take a moment and I want us to write down 2 goals, okay? They can be sport related. Let's actually do one sport related at least, and then if you want to do a different one that's outside of sport, that's fine. Or do another sport one, okay? So a goal could be, maybe I want to get a little bit faster. Maybe I want to be better at my ball handling. Maybe I want to be better at my shooting, okay? Maybe I want to be better at my post moves. What are some goals that we have for ourselves? Now, let's talk about goals really quickly, okay? So goals are like our whys. They are like our motivators, and motivators are things that when maybe we feel pressure, maybe we are not doing well, maybe a referee calls a bad call, maybe my teammate makes a bad pass, maybe I shoot an air ball. When all these things happen, your why has to kick in. Why do I continuously want to show up to play with my team? So when we have this why, it creates a drive for you, and it helps you get to accomplish a goal. So what we're trying to do right there is get to something and work hard at it until we get there, okay? If we can focus on our goal, it allows us to remove ourselves from some of the expectations and pressure that exists, because we are taking, like, what's our goal, and we're taking the steps to get there. That is going to be our new focus, okay? So number 2, goals and whys, okay? let's talk about the last goal, the last tip that I have for you. Okay, so tip number 3. Here's the reality, ladies. I wish that I can tell you that you will never have to face a hard game, a hard opponent, bad referees, your parents in the stands yelling at you, fussing at you, praising you, your coach having expectations of you. I wish I could tell you that those things would never exist. But listen, if I'm going to be honest, they're 100% going to exist. So what we have to do is figure out what is our press break, okay? Because regardless, our failures and expectations, they're similar to a team playing defense on us. A team is not going to stop playing defense on us because they're up by 30 points, right? Unless the referee tells them they have to, they're going to keep putting the pressure on you, right? That's just like failure. Failure continuously comes, but we have to figure out what is our play, what is our press break that's going to help us get through that pressure. Okay, so here are some of our things that we want to create as press breaks. All right, so the number one thing that we want to be able to create in our press break is to know that we have to have a reset plan. Okay, so in creating a reset plan, we want to be as present as possible. So I'm going to give you 2 things. I want you to do a verbal and a visual. Okay, now what is the reason that we have a reset plan? Here's what I want you to do with me for a moment. I want you to stop real quick. Okay, no writing. Look down at your feet. Okay, take a moment. Look down at your feet. Okay, so when we look down at our feet, it's telling us a couple of things, all right? Number 1 is telling us that we're still alive, right? Our feet are still there. We can still see our feet, which means that we still have an opportunity or a chance to do something better the next time, okay? The second thing that your feet tells us is that we are in a present moment. Our feet can't be in the past, and our feet can't be in the future. It can only be right there with us. So when we are creating a reset plan, what we're doing is allowing our mind to say, okay, I can't think about what's going on in the past. I can't think about the future, but all I can do is take step by step. Okay, moving forward step by step. So I get a bad call from a referee. I want you to give yourself a visual cue. Okay, whether it's looking down at your feet, whether it is a wristband that you have on. Some of us, I know you write words, even though you shouldn't write words on your body, but some of us might have words of inspiration on our arms. You can look at that. Find something that is always going to be with you. So a person might not be the best person as a visual for you to kind of think about resetting, but find something else that's always on the court. Maybe it's a backboard, okay? Maybe it is a spot on the floor. Whatever it is, pick something, okay? And when you look at that, that's a reminder that, hey, I have to stay right here, right now. I can't think about what I just did, what shot I just missed, what the referee just called. I got to think about right now. All right. And the second thing I want you to think about is a verbal cue. All right. So the way that our brain works, it can only think of one thing at a time. So if I'm thinking about the negative, I can easily change that by thinking of something positive. Okay. Man, I'm never going to make that shot. I'm going to try again next time. Okay, even though I struggled this time, I'm going to try again. If I can change my thought to that thought, it's really going to help me kind of move on. So we have some verbal cues. Maybe it's, I got the next one. Okay, maybe it is, I'll work on that. Maybe it is, what does my teammates need? Maybe it is, next play. Okay, maybe it is, this doesn't define me. Whatever it is, I want you to come up with your own little phrase of words to say to yourself in moments where it gets a little bit more pressure or expectations kind of give you anxiety. Okay, so visual and verbal. And there's one final thing that I think is kind of really important to the reset plan. And it is to try to remove ourselves from thinking of what we have to go through and change this perspective to what does my team need? Okay, so number 3 is what does my team need right now? So I make a turnover pass. Okay, didn't mean to. I was not just. I just didn't make a good pass. That they got the steal and they're heading down the other court. What does my team need me to do right now? Think about how bad I made that pass, or they need me to hustle back on defense and try to make a stop. Okay. Maybe I just let my opponent score a basket. They got by me. I wasn't playing great defense. They got back by me. Okay, what does my team need me to do? My team needs me to take care of the ball when I go back down the court, make a better pass, go into the court myself, try to draw a foul, shoot a basket, try to score some points. So I think about what is next? What can I do to help my teammates move forward? And that's the way that we're going to help prevent some of the pressures and anxieties and expectations that come from playing our sport. Okay. So to recap, the top 3 things or the three tips I want to give you today is know who you are, know what your goals are, okay, and have a reset plan. All right. If you have enjoyed this episode, I really appreciate it if you guys would hit the subscribe button, press a like, leave a comment for me. Let me know what other topics you want to talk about. I'm definitely here to be a resource to you. I want to help you all succeed. I want to help your parents succeed. So whatever I can do, let me know. Also, if you would be willing to share this with someone else, I would really, really appreciate it. All right. I will see you all again next week. Enjoy the rest of your week and your day, and I will talk to you later. This episode is sponsored to you by the LeadHership Athletics community, a community of middle and high school athletes aspiring to play at the collegiate level while striving for excellence in life. Within this space, your athlete will have an opportunity to interact with myself and our PhD level clinical psychologist, Dr. Haft. We will use this space with like-minded athletes to help provide your athletes with the skills and tools that they need to succeed at anything in life and not just the game. If you're interested in learning more about our program, please visit our website, www.leadhershipathletics.com/mentorship with another /. All right. That is the way you can get in touch with us. If you have any other questions, definitely reach out. But until then, back to the episode.